Hi guys, I wanted to do a personal note and let you guys know what's going on. Instead of doing like 4 videos a week, I'm probably going to go down to doing 2. That's my goal for now, doing 2 videos a week. I've had a lot going on. My work is marketing and rebranding, so I'm hoping we're going to be super busy very soon, so I'm looking forward to that. Yay, money! After being in the hospital, I'm finally starting to feel better. We had my son be evaluated by Kennedy Krieger, and we found out he is on the autism spectrum, so I am super busy into that, looking for specialists and learning everything I can. And it kind of made me giggle because they give you, all these little books, and I realized that some of the things that me, and not only myself, because after reading all this, I see so many of these things in other people now that I had to share. And this is about being on the autism spectrum. And one of the biggest things is repetitive or obsessive behaviors. And when they think repetitive, for small children, it's like spinning in circles, tapping blocks. What it reminded me of in the adult version is the clicky pens, when you get stressed and you obsessively click, 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 click. We've all had those workmates that do that. I hate that. But the other thing is repetitive behavior like crochet. Crochet is the same movement over and over and over again, and it calms me, and that's certainly something that I do to calm when I'm stressed. Another thing would be like cross stitch or embroidery, the same basic motion over and over again. In cooks, it can be chopping, or something, gameplay, video games, buttons, the same repetitive thing. Likes routines, orders, and rituals, and has difficulty with change. Well, that about describes the majority of adults I know, especially with kids. We all have our routines. And once routines are established, in humans in general, I find we don't like change at all. And I certainly fall into that group. Same thing with the children. Plays with parts of a toy instead of the whole toy. Like the wheels of a truck instead of pushing the truck around. This reminds me of all the mechanics I know, which makes you giggle. But if you think about it, the awesome people that are obsessed with trucks and cars and motors and even like, race cars or souping up tractors and riding lawnmowers. I mean, it's all a fascination with moving parts, right? Autism. Maybe very sensitive or not sensitive at all to smell, sounds, lights, textures, and touch. This completely describes me, especially for sounds and smells. Reminds me of pregnant women, when you first, or you don't even realize you're pregnant, and heaven forbid you smell fish of any kind, be sick. Totally sick. And the other thing that they note is unusual use of vision or gaze. Looks at objects from unusual angles. And that reminded me of a story that I read somewhere about a box truck that had run into a bridge that it thought would fit under, and it didn't. And it was stuck, like wedged, all right? And they had the police trying to pull it out from the back. They had a truck pushing it from the front, but they were trying to pull it out from the back. And a little boy went up to the police officer and said, "Excuse me, sir, why don't they just deflate the tires?" And it made me realize that it takes somebody with a different point of view to come up with unusual and innovative solutions. And that really got me thinking, Would I have thought, hey, deflate the tires? Because if you deflate the tires, you just pull it right out, an extra few inches. It's not wedged anymore. It's like, duh, but who would have thought about that? I wouldn't have thought of that. And I was watching before, like a week ago, I was watching one of the TED Talks where it talks about autism from an evolutionary standpoint. It's a wonderful talk about autism being the next step of evolution in neurological biodiversity, which is really big words for things are changing. And they don't really understand why, and it's mostly in males, because autism is like 1 in 88 males, which is shocking to me. Also, if you have one autistic child, you probably have all autistic children. So we're keeping an extra special eye on my daughter, of course. She's miles ahead of him already, so I'm not too worried about that. And, you know, he talks about, you know, just the fascinating things that, you know, people excel at one thing. A lot of times it's music or art or engineering or specific sciences. When kids get older, they get kind of obsessed with numbers or science and things that they're interested in. And that totally reminds me of me too. I mean, if I'd been good at calculus, I'd totally be a scientist. But yeah, I'm not good at calculus at all. What else? Dude, sleep disorders. This was another big one for me, like that certainly clicked. Sleep disorders, have problem falling asleep, frequent night wakings, has sleep apnea, talks about restless leg syndrome, and they talk about, you know, melatonin being able to help. And if you ever have had sleep problems, everyone tells you melatonin, and that's great. But, you know, why? Why do we have sleep disorders? Why do some people need 10 hours of sleep and other people need 4, you know? My son zonks out. He wakes up. It's like somebody lit him like a firecracker and boom, the energy just explodes. I'm jealous. I don't have that. I wish I did, but I don't. But I do have, you know, the frequent night wakings, and you gotta make yourself go back to bed and tell your brain to be quiet because you're tired. What else? The verbal apraxia, you know, they talk about stuff like that, but there was so much that made me think about all the adults I know. And it really makes me wonder if, you know, the big increase in diagnosis is simply because we know so much more than we did, you know. Would I have been diagnosed with autism? You know, not at that time because, you know, nobody was looking for it. And I was a girl and my verbal stuff was okay, but, you know, I still don't like people. I don't like big groups of people. I hated the fact that we had to go into the city to go for the evaluation. That stressed me out to, like, no end. But it talks about, you know, sensory overload and all sorts of stuff that really made me think about talented people. And they say, you know, we're getting more and more talented kids. And, you know, I certainly consider Dean to be, you know, an indigo kid or whatever. And we always joke that he's far too psychic, so he doesn't bother to talk. And, you know, it's kind of the running joke in the house. But, you know, help is help. And, you know, with the diagnosis, at least, you know, we get a lot more help, and insurance covers some of it. So yay for that. It was something I was really stressed about. But, you know, I'm not as upset as I was, because it's just a word, you know, it's just a label, and it really doesn't define him. He's still the same kid today as he was yesterday, so just gonna have a ton of appointments and, you know, lots of therapy and verbal stuff, because that's where he really is low on the scale. He doesn't talk. He doesn't really want to. That's the running joke. He doesn't have anything to say. He doesn't like people, so, you know, whatever. But obviously we want him to have the greatest advantages that everybody else has to be the best person that he can. So we'll see how that pans out, but that's probably going to take up a tremendous chunk of my time dealing with all the scheduling and getting things on track. So thank you for being patient with me. I certainly appreciate it. I'm finally feeling better from all the intestinal issues and pain and appendix stuff. And now, you know, we're looking towards fall, so I'll be working. Hopefully next week will be sunny and not too hot. I had to start insulating the chicken coop, and we got a bunch of panels that I need to replace, you know. Just little stuff like that has to be done, because they're calling for a bad winter again, and I had kind of proofed it last year, but I really need to proof it in this year, so I gotta get on top of that before it gets bad. Other than that, you know, things are going great at the farm. I really am hoping to do some craft fairs this fall and winter, you know, depending on how cold it gets, how quick. But other than that, life's good. You know, I can't complain. Loving life. Had a great long weekend. Yay! Looking forward to going pumpkin hunting. That is always like my favorite fall activity, especially now that, you know, my son is bigger. He doesn't really get it, but he likes picking a pumpkin, so, you know, picture opportunity. Other than that, you know, just waiting for the snuggle weather and crank up the heat and enjoy hot cocoa and marshmallows and love life. Get ready for Christmas. Oh my God, Christmas is coming. I didn't say that. I take it back. Too much stress for those of us. It feels like another Monday. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you very much for being supportive. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. If you have any questions or suggestions for the Personal Power series, which I'm really excited about. I have so many ideas. I've been trying to write it down and sort through what I'm going to do first. I think the next big one for next week is going to be control. Ooh. So that'll be a long one. But if you have any other topics that you'd like to discuss or questions that you have, you can write me here on YouTube, find me on Facebook, email me at livingmediumship@gmail.com. And I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.